Hello.
Hello. So here we're back
Hi,
again with Aurora and Marcella
Marcella. That was
from
good.
the
I like
East
that.
and the West Coast.
I'm all the way in the
And
East Coast, and you're not the West Coast, my dear.
I'm in the middle of
California is
the
the West
ocean
Coast.
coast.
You're the
Yeah,
Ocean
well,
Coast.
the ocean coast. I have both East and West.
Honolulu
And
Coast. That's 6 hour time difference for us. Hey, I just learned in I don't know if it's national or what, but somebody told me that they're not going to do the time change this year for
oh,
North
really?
Carolina. So are you 5 hours or
Okay.
6 hours off me right now?
I think six. So, and here they never do it. So I guess we're gonna stay
Right. So
6 hours.
there was times where I would be 5 hours from the East Coast when I lived there,
Right.
but cool.
Oh,
Cool, cool,
interesting.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so excited.
So,
Oh my gosh. That time change always got me.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
And we are back with the channel in 20 seconds. So we have noted some of your questions. And I think I'd like to talk a little bit about past lives today. And we have a question. How are my past lives influencing my current drastic decisions? Even though I'm curious to know what the drastic decisions are, as opposed to simple decisions.
Right. That was pretty intense wording. Drastic
Yeah.
decisions.
Um, actually, I've had, I have had, I've had I've had a past life that has drastically changed, impacted my decisions once. Like when I reached the age of 25, I started behaving weirdly. Like I had kind of a midlife crisis or a past life crisis. And then when I did a
I
hypnosis
love
session,
that way. That's awesome. A past life crisis. I think we should coin that. That's amazing. Because they are
sure,
past life
past life.
crises, and they'll hit you at the year of whatever it
Exactly.
hit. That's interesting. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, that you said it. So I did a past life regression and it turned out to be a past life crisis. Like that happened. I died at the exact same age and in my life something was happening that was related to that. So I was 25, I died at 20, or something big happened at 25 that lifetime. So when I resolved it, it also got resolved for my current life. And I went out of the crisis. So it does impact your decision, and sometimes it can be drastic.
Totally, totally, totally. Yeah. And sometimes it's like the death of a child in a past life, or the death of yourself in a past life, or the death of a parent in a past life. Just as much as it can impact us in the present, if that would have happened, there's a reason
Right.
your soul is actually, calling that lifetime in to help you clear. And let's just back up for a second. Let me say the people that watch our stuff, they're not the young souls. So if you're watching, you're not a young soul, you're an old soul. Like the young souls aren't even interested in topics that we would discuss. They would be like, whatever. So if you're watching, there's a
Mm.
reason. And old souls, I think this is so interesting. Old souls are given the freedom to choose whether or not, once they hit the spirit realm, whether they go to the place of healing or not. Young souls are not. They're not given that autonomy to. But once you get hit a certain point of like you've done it before, and maybe you're now helping guide other people in the spirit realm. And now you're living lifetimes and still working. You can be doing both at the same time. It's so fascinating because you can skip the healing part and you're like, oh yeah, I've done, oh, that wasn't that bad of a lifetime. And then we skip the healing and then we come back and incarnate again, and it still leaves that residual. I remember one time I asked spirit, like, if in the soul realm we are perfect and whole and healed and there's no problems with us, how come past lives would ever even it be an issue for us? Like, why would that be? And they said, because until you actually have a corporeal body, until you have cellular DNA, that's not activated. So you're not,
Right.
and that's when you can heal it, is when you're in the
I've
body.
I've did this mistake once as a hypnotherapist. So I put my client was going through a past life, and I kind of skimmed through it. I went too fast, and then because I was like, oh, maybe we can bypass this and then go to the higher self that knows everything and heal the body. Like it was very traumatic, like very traumatic past life. And once I schemed, like I went to the higher self and I was like, oh, can you tell us what happened now from your perspective? And it was like, nope, I'm not going to tell you that. You're going to have to go back to the body and go see what happened with the clients of the body, because it went too fast. So the body didn't have time to process the trauma or what happened and to activate that karma lessons, whatever is happening. So you have to, like, you cannot just skip. Yeah, I know, I can tell you what happened, but we won't be able to liberate the trauma because she hasn't seen it, like the physical body hasn't seen it. So there is not one that is better than the other, or like that you can skip or go back and forth. It's like each procedure is there for a reason, and yeah, it has.
And that's why we create the past life crisis too, is that we're now in a corporeal body, and now we can actually activate those lessons or whatever we wanted to work out and work it from two different angles, the past life and the present life. So it's very interesting.
So I wanted also to see for the girl that asked the question, if it is really a past life that is influencing her changes or not. Just a quick yes or no for Anissa.
There was two people that asked questions
Yes.
about past lives. That's interesting. Yeah. I didn't notice that.
And Ada wanted to know what was she in a past life.
Let's just address one at a time, or I'm going to get my people mixed up.
Yes. Well, the first one is if her changes are being impacted.
Okay. Yeah. I'm getting you're definitely in a past life crisis. I love that word. Such a great descriptor.
I also say, so yes, it vibrates, but also that I feel like you're creating also a lot of drama, that more than it needs to be. Like I see that this present life is like filled with stories and with like a turmoil kind of drama, and you can take a step back and just let it resolve itself. And if you can do a past life, that's also good. It will help you match or see the origin or the source of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, and maybe move forward easily from that. You're gonna move forward anyway, but it's like for it to be more graceful and less drastic.
A past life regression would very much help if you can find a hypnotherapist that specializes in past life regression. I would highly recommend that, which Aurora and I both do, but you need to pick somebody you feel comfortable with.
Right. And that you match, like always the client and the therapist like choose each other.
Yeah.
And help each other both.
Yeah.
And Ada asks, I'm curious to know what I was in my past life.
So let's talk a minute about psychic reading of a past life versus an experience of a hypnotherapy session past life, because that's a big difference. I think that's a good thing to describe.
Yeah, so I could tell her what were you in a past life, and it would have like zero impact, as just satisfying your curiosity, basically. I'll tell you were a rock.
Have a little bit of impact though too. Sometimes like there's things I can't see.
Reading, yeah, if I do a psychic reading, yes, but it's like, I think it's the difference if somebody tells you a dream and you experience your own dream, like with all the emotions that go in there, with all the, you'll cry tears of relief. You can experience the healing in this present life, like in your body, when you go through the past life yourself. And it can
in
happen
the hypnotherapy session.
in the hypnotherapy. Yeah.
not in the psychic session. So in the hypnotherapy, you're actually experiencing it, you're feeling it, your emotions are active with it. When as a psychic, I'm telling you your past life, which I don't really like to do because of that, because you're not really getting the full depth and breadth of healing. However, there
Yep.
is a time and a place for both, because when you
Yeah.
do a psychic reading of a past life regression, you can get things that maybe you're not willing to accept. Things like,
Mm.
I've had clients who were murderers in the past, and it was impacting their present day life so much, but they didn't want to go there in a session. They didn't want to experience it. So it's like it kind of just pulled a little string of a thread so that their consciousness could start to deal with some of the stuff that they had experienced. And then they came in for another past life regression, and it had a much deeper, they were ready then for that information. So that can be helpful.
Yeah, and I really like the difference also between someone telling you a movie and you watching the movie yourself.
Yeah.
It's like a past reference. So, the feeling is not the same. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I appreciate it, and maybe I can drive a lesson or two from them. But if you see it and then you start, feel the emotions that the actors and the people are feeling, it's different. And there is always parallel between the life that you see and your current life, so you can get a lot of healing in your life,
In your
or it's not
present
just
day.
a curiosity. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not just about that. It's about actually how you move forward in this present time. There's no other reason to go back to the past.
Yeah. Oh, and I can feel Ada's questions is more like what I was in my past life, like not curiosity, but what I was, let's say, Cleopatra or Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, it
And
has that.
very,
Yeah.
very, first of all, you don't have only one past life, and most clients' past lives are very mundane. Like it could be Marie Antoinette's servant, or a stone in a wall for like years and years and years. And
Dr. Weiss talks about a client who thought he was Elvis, and it turned out he was an Elvis impersonator in this.
yeah, really, really
So it's
interesting.
like,
I had the same client, not the same client. I had the same thing when the client was one of thought it was Kennedy's wife, but it was one of her many lovers that had this idea that was the wife and behaved like the wife and like had a delusional personality.
oh, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so interesting when it's very rare to have a very famous person in a past life, but it does happen, and it can happen, you know, it can.
Yeah, it
It's
can.
not saying that you're not something, but
Mm.
of like one time I do this meditation where you ask how many lifetimes have I lived, and
Yeah.
I do it in a way that the client isn't expecting it, and the group session isn't expecting it. So they get an instant number that pops in. And when mine popped in, it was a huge number. And I was like, how could you ever even
Mine too. Yeah.
possibly like experience all the past lives? And like I like how you said it, some of them are very mundane, but the guides only give you what is relevant for this timeline point for right
And
that
also,
moment.
yeah, exactly the right moment. So even now, I think my number back 10 years ago was like 1,300 or 1,000, 13,000, something like, whoa. But I will never have the time to go through 13,000 life in this lifetime, nor would I want to. It's when
Well,
something
and
happens in my life.
they're not all impacting your life.
Exactly. So I usually do a past life regression when I feel that, yeah, I need answer for this moment in time, and then I will connect to exactly what I need from all this huge number to exactly the lives that I need that are impacting my life now. So I would suggest for the girl to maybe listen to a meditation. Maybe I will see if I have one, or maybe I will do one past life regression meditation and see what comes up for her, who she was, and that would be like the first life that needs to be maybe cleared out, or that is the most impactful for her right now.
Let's put a couple of those meditations up as products in our store on mds-institute.com too, because then we can give maybe we'll put a coupon or something so it's not that expensive. You can just try it and see how it
Yeah.
goes. I'm writing it down. Otherwise, I won't remember. I just want to take a moment and talk about the psychic reading of the past life too, because
Mhm.
I actually have had it be very helpful on occasion to have a reading. There were things that I couldn't get to, and I was in a past life crisis, and I had re-encountered somebody who was one of my soul group members, and I just fell instantly in love, and he did too. And it was this swirl of like, I could not believe it. Like I have a whole book to write about this lifetime, or not this lifetime, this person and
Connection.
encountering for
Mm.
this life that I'm living as Marcella. And the connection was so strong. And I went to a friend who's a psychic, and I asked if she could help me because like I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. And she's like, I can't even get to his persona that he's living now, like his identity now. She's like, all I can access is the past life of both of you because for both of you, it was your happiest lifetime ever.
Mm.
And it was one where it doesn't happen all that often, but sometimes we take breaks and we have the happiest lifetime and nobody
Mhm.
dies early and nobody go, like there's not famine and starving and crazy and Indians and all sorts of stuff. And that helped me clear a lot of that so I could see clearly because I couldn't even see clearly. It was really
Mm.
helpful. And I wouldn't have gone there in that past life regression. I had tried already and wasn't getting the answers.
So I wonder if we do have a question about uh, heartbreak in relationship. I wonder if this relationship also comes from a past life. Like I had the thought pop into my head when you were talking about it. So it was like all flames and like beauty, like very fusional in the beginning, and then like it got cold.
That's a
Or
different question than Ada's question of curious about the past life. Do you want to
yeah,
take a minute with
yeah.
Ada just for a second and then we'll jump to the
Uh, okay. What did you get?
I saw her in this very French shop that was like Victorian, like 1600s ish, and it like had these fur hats and these pearls, and like she was really wealthy and loving like the opulence of all this stuff.
Hmm. I think I tapped into another past life when, or maybe it could be the same later on. Kind of the Sound of Music dress, like blue with the white, kind of a maid, but um, living in a small village and very happy in nature, like singing and like running with a little basket of flowers. And it may as well be France because I could see, or Switzerland, or like that, the beautiful mountains and the air, and I could see like very happy and chirpy, and it feels like energetic, feels like two different lives, but it can also be like in the youth, and then it transforms into
It feels
later
like
on
two
in like
different lives to me
a different
too.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really was two different lives. I don't know why they're both coming up, but I do feel like there's an element of like, where's my money? Where's my money right now? Like for
Ah.
Ada, like I'm used to having the finer things of life kind of feeling. And then
Mm.
it's interesting because then the lifetime you picked up was that like free and happy with just a basket of
Correct.
flowers. So it's like which
Um,
lifetime and they might be playing off of each other where she's not satisfied, satisfied, not satisfied. And it's like could
in
be a
this
pressure
lifetime, it
shock.
doesn't feel like she had a lot of money, but she feels freer and she feels happier. So it's like maybe a part of her misses money and the freedom that comes from money, and a part of her misses the freedom that comes from not having money and not requiring to
Ooh,
support her lavish lifestyle.
let's do a download of what it is to feel free. Just free,
Yes.
either way.
Yeah. Say yes if you want to know what freedom feels like according to the
Yeah.
definition of the creator, and align it with your definition of freedom and what it feels like to feel free. In all dimensions, languages, cells in your body.
Ah, and this is popping back in. It's also like freedom from soul contracts. Like you don't have to have
Yeah.
you're not indebted to anything or anyone else.
You can
Pure
choose
freedom.
to end soul contracts right now if you want.
Yeah. Update to present time, any soul contracts. I just heard like all this, yay! Did
Yeah, I
you
got
hear
the children. Yeah, it's my neighbors.
that? That's perfect. There's
Yeah.
nothing in session that ever happens that isn't supposed to. And it was like, that was
Yeah,
the
there
world
was
getting
like
happy
archiving.
for every
Yeah.
one of us that said yes to updating soul contract. Yay!
So many soul contracts are old, like, or like,
Yes.
yeah, because we
Yeah.
don't do vows and soul the contracts anymore, or at least with the
Yes.
gravity that they did it back then. Yeah,
No,
we have
we
marriage
do.
stuff.
Like those times when you say, I'll never do that again. That's a vow.
Ah, true. But I don't know, I'm watching Roma right now. So it's like the vows that they did back then are not the same. It's like,
Yeah.
I curse on you for generations. Like they're children, and it's like, oh, that is like that karma right there. Like they need to clear the past life hypnosis.
I had a client once who I went back through, and it was many generations of her, like every single generation said yes to this one. I don't want to say entity, an energy, a soul being, like that was uh trading, like, if you give me your soul, then I will give you eternal life, which is a
Mm.
lie because we all have eternal life always. Like that, you can't like to trade your soul for that is a manipulation. So if anybody matching that, you can free yourself. Just tear that contract up. It is already given. You have eternal life. That's why we have
Yes.
past lives.
Just say yes in case it's like in whatever life you have it.
You can
That's
say
what I think.
yes to anything that's for my highest good. How about that? So they have an
Yes.
autonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we will just keep to since our
Yes.
channel today is about past lives, we'll keep only to the questions that match the frequency of past lives. And I just want to see if the relationship is and the heartbreak of
Yeah.
our next questions is related to a past life or not.
It feels like it.
Hmm. Just a quick reading. So what we're doing now is psychic readings about somebody else's questions because they're not present. That's like the definition of a psychic reading.
And let's be clear on what the question was.
How can I heal the relationship and this heartbreak? And you may ever, it's a very good point, like whether the relationship can or can be healed, any kind of relationship, the heartbreak needs to be healed before we are embark on any other relationship, even the relationship with ourselves. Like if our heart is hurting, we cannot even fully love ourselves or be ready for the next relationship. And even if it's with the same person, we still need to like start new and not carry all the disappointments and heartbreak from previously. Otherwise it will spill out and carry out in the new phase of the same relationship, which is not the same anymore. I think I see relationships as living and breathing creatures that need to be nourished and healed, and they have a life of their own.
I'm just noticing that this person she is just pining. She's stuck. She's stuck. You can keep meditating if you need to. And
I'm
I'm
yeah,
just
go
getting
ahead.
that he is not coming back. Like it's not.
Um, I feel I see past life. I feel marriage, and he's a soldier that goes to war often, so she's often left alone in the house, like just waiting for him and waiting for him for like years and years and a very long period of time while he kind of has double life. I mean, yeah, because the life is one of fightings and like protecting the empire or whatever. I cannot clearly distinguish what time period it is, but I see a soldier that goes to war and like comes for a day and then disappears for years and at some point he dies and she keeps waiting on him what it seems like forever. And she never leaves the house and she's very faithful to him. Meanwhile, he has almost forgotten about her, like almost like he has, you know, the say the horse and like whatever
The
the
other
soldiers
life.
are
Yeah.
at the other life and in the battlefield and his camaraderie with other friends, with other soldiers, and but she is just home alone waiting for him. And
Yeah.
it's like it's
He's
very
living this
heartbreaking.
full life and she's like living this tiny life and putting the candle in the windowsill every night to make sure he can come home and knows where the house is.
Yeah, and one day he never like she received news that he died and like he never comes home. Maybe he's dead, maybe he's not dead. It feels like he just moved on to another country and just uh got reminded that oh yeah, she's there maybe waiting for me. I need like to send notice and never meets her in the life. And it is also possible that this moment today or when the change shifted is the moment when that thing happened in that past life. Like when either the
Like the
news
same
arrived,
age,
same age, yeah, same time
time of
period, and she
year.
felt like her world shattered, like her reality, such as she knew, because she had constructed another reality, like she was married and waited for her lover, and like he was thinking of her as much as she was thinking about him. And it was like, oh,
He had another
lonely.
family.
So
Like he
he
was
had another family, yeah.
not, yeah.
Yeah, he met during his travels and his other life, and he never came back. And it felt like this she's experiencing the same heartbreak over and over again, like my life is a lie.
Abandonment.
Abandonment, yeah, very very deep rooted abandonment. Okay.
And he's not coming back in this life either. Like she wants him back. But I don't think that's what this lifetime is about.
And it's nothing that's it's not on her to heal. The only thing that I feel is that is um to live a full life. Like she made herself so small back then, and now it's actually very good that it wasn't
Mm,
that long, that was shorter, so you can go through those emotions and allow yourself to be very very extremely happy. Like that is the kind of the best revenge, but it's not even a revenge. Like all of those years in that lifetime when you made yourself small and did not allow yourself to be happy or to create your own community, to create your own friends, because he's in war and he's fighting for the country and he's so miserable. So I need to keep the torch for him and feel all his
yeah.
misery. And now you can close the contract. You can allow yourself to be happy, to say yes, to allow yourself to live a full life independent on who is or isn't in your life.
Yeah. And it's amazing. When you said that, like, wait a minute, just live your full life and be happy. And when I see her happy, she attracts all sorts of great relationships, like super fun. And I'm not saying don't listen to psychics as far as like the future is not written in stone. We don't have all the answers. Things can change. Like I could see him coming back if she was actually living that happy life. Then things shifted for me what I saw. But either way,
Yeah.
whether whoever's telling you intuitive information, you have to trust yourself and know that the future is not set in stone. You can change it.
Yeah. And not only that, it's that you have to do it for yourself. It's like, if, yeah, he can come back, but you have to be happy for yourself. You're being happy so that he can come back, he won't come back. It's
Right.
like this double-edged sword, because we are
Yeah.
attracted to what is like beautiful and makes us feel happy. And like, even in that lifetime, I think that she was often like very miserable and down and like low energy, and he was just attracted to a very vibrant type of energy. And if she had back then that type of energy, he would have come back.
Yeah.
And that's what originally attracted him to you in this lifetime, like the vibrant energy. It reminded him of that connection that you've had like in previous lifetimes. But you have to choose your own happiness and yourself above all else, and then everything else will fall into place and heal itself.
Yeah, totally. Love it.
So I will offer some healing to your heart, and yeah, we offer you the possibility to just say yes and abandon, like clear that past life so that it doesn't impact you emotionally as much as today. You haven't wasted your whole life on him. And even that, it wasn't a waste. Like back then, you had lessons to learn, so we can
Yeah.
achieve this life and yeah, learn all the lessons. And you loved it. I felt that she loved that life. Like she loved being the waiting wife. She loved all the stories that she created in her hand and lighting her candles and reading and writing her books. Like she loved being she loved that role, and it was hers to experience, but it's not yours anymore in this lifetime. So to each their own.
We touched on something yesterday, you and I, Aurora, where we were talking about the energetic divorce. And I think that's
Yes.
appropriate to bring
Yeah.
back today.
Yeah. So for everyone that wants to check with yourself if I use muscle testing, like it's yes, yes, yes. If I cannot open this, no, if I can. And I can ask if I am married. I mean, for me, it's yes, because I am married, but it can be yes for you, even if you're not married. And then say the name, I am married to this person, and you will see if you are still married or not. For me, when I first did it, I was married to some of my friends from past lives, like my present friends, like female friends in another life. And check for you specifically, that's a question, check if you are still married to that person. And if the answer is yes, allow us to make an energetic divorce. So energetic divorce is you imagine the person in front of you, and then whatever parts of your soul you have in him, you can imagine in keys or gifts. Imagine like he has in the key to your house, or you having the key to his house, but you're separated now. So imagine all these things that you have from him being cleared out and handing it back to him, like in a beautiful package. And imagine the same thing coming from them, like all the pieces of your soul or all the contract or the lessons that belong to you, but they're still in him, to like get cleared out and then to be integrated in yourself so that the divorce is complete. And even if you are even if you hope for a new relationship, the divorce still has to be complete. Like you cannot marry if you're still married to an old version. Like if whatever new relationships come in your life, it has to be like a new union. So
And it could be the same person. It's the
yeah, even
updated.
if it's the same person.
Yeah, it's the current present time person that you want to be married to, not the past life version or
Don't
even the
do
old
it.
boyfriend version or even the high
Yeah.
school version. Go ahead.
Only don't do it if you're married with the person that you're currently married, because that like energetically may lead to a divorce. But that's the only case. With every person that you're not currently married in your life, it would be beneficial, like to have a divorce, energetic divorce for each and every one of them. And if you're supposed or you choose to come back again, then you start from a clean slate. So I will make all this available energetically. So, and then you can write down, you have to do it for each person. So like if there is a name that pops up, check with yourself if you are married to them, and then you do it with each and every person. It cannot be, because you have to imagine this energy exchange between two people. So yeah, it can be like 10 people, whatever. We can be married to many people, but only the ones that are impacting, as you said before, your lifetime right now. And that is important for you to remember. So yeah, I would advise for every breakup to do this. It is the equivalent of getting back, the box with all this stuff and getting back what's yours with all this stuff, but in a clean and pure form, so that whatever beginning there is there, it will be like beautiful and new and
Yeah.
won't carry on all the trauma of the past.
And the wounds and all the heartache and all that. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have more heartache and trauma live things coming up for you and meditations and stuff, because this is a big subject and we definitely have our
Yeah.
experience and we know how to handle lots
Yeah.
and lots of things relative to this.
So I think maybe that will be all for today.
Yeah, that feels
Because it
complete.
was like
Yeah.
talk about past lives and
Yeah.
heartbreaks. So listen if this applies to you, and we'll talk again soon with more different subjects.
And
Yeah.
remember, we wanted to ask too, what is your method for moving forward after heartbreak? Please comment below.
Yeah.
What is your method for moving forward after heartbreak? We want to know.
Yes. And we have this high vibe and mds-institute.com. We have a high vibe tribe, and we are thinking of every month we will pick up one person to do either an 1 hour hypnosis or a past life regression that we then can use for the rest of our group for learning, for teaching purposes. So it is going to be cheap compared to what we usually charge for our past life regressions.
Yeah, like
and
I charge $350 for a past life regression and $180 for a hypnosis session. And this high vibe tribe, if you join, there's hardly anybody in it right now, so you got to bear with us for a little while we build our group. But the good news is that then your odds are really good at getting that for under $20 a month. So you get put in the pool, and if there's only 5 people in the pool, you got 1 in 5 chance of getting a session. Now we are going to use the sessions, like Aurora said, for teaching and marketing purposes. So you have to be willing to put yourself on camera and all that. But it really can help clear a lot of stuff.
Yes. So yeah, I'll put the link in the video description, and see you next time. Bye.